What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a closer look at my library. What books are on the shelf? This comes by request from a couple of different people that have noticed the books in my background, contacted me and asked me to do a closer look at your library. So we're going to go through all the shelves, going to take a look at all those books and let you know what's there. For those of you that are new here, my name is Steve. Thanks for coming by the channel. While you're here, you're going to be encouraged and equipped to be the Christian you claim to be. We're going to do that by going through scripture and doctrine and solid tools and resources to help make your day-to-day better and more Christ-focused. If that sounds something that is interesting to you, make sure to click on that subscribe button and let's get into it. I'm going to flip the camera around and I don't know how long this video is going to be honest with you. I'm going to flip it around and kind of talk us through it as we go. Okay, so let's get into this library tour. This first space here is the space where I work. If you've seen any of my previous videos on like how I study, I think one of them is called How I Study the Bible. There's a couple of them and I'll put links down in the description of just kind of how I do it, and maybe you can pick up a few tips and tricks from that. But these are the books that like I'm currently using and studying from, and the Bibles that I use on a regular basis. Then we'll get into the library. So we'll go basically bookshelf by bookshelf, shelf by shelf. This one will be rather quick. So first, see that little line of sticky notes over here on the right? That's the beginning of my sticky wall. I have some in a few other places, but all those of you out there that tell me you're from a persecuted country, I write your initials or initials that remind me of who you are for security reasons and the country that you're from. And I like to pray for you guys. So I'm hoping that this entire wall of bookshelves is filled up with sticky notes someday. But this very first bookshelf is all commentaries. So we'll get a little bit closer and take a look at the commentaries. I like to keep my commentaries just close so I can pull them off the shelf when I need them when I'm studying. So this top shelf is the Old Testament commentaries. The first four there are these ones here. Those are like more than one book, whole Bible. The first two are whole Bible commentaries. The second two is it's based on apologetics. This is the Home and Apologetics commentary. I love this commentary because it comments on the Gospels and Acts in an apologetics fashion. But all the rest of them are book by book. You can see Isaiah. Some books are broken down into two sections. Isaiah and the first half and the second half and such. I don't have tons of Old Testament commentaries. I buy these one by one. I do have a video on commentaries that I'll try to link for you. But I buy them one by one, usually used, and for a pretty good price, to be honest with you, since you can buy them pre-owned. This is Bill Muntz's Basics of Biblical Greek. I really want to learn Greek. Since we have excellent Greek scholars that are teaching courses such as this one, it really isn't very expensive. I'm going to do my best to teach to myself. So it might take a little longer than it might take others, but you know what? I'm going to do my best. Then we get into the New Testament commentaries. Again, I buy them by author. If you have any questions on any of these books, you want to see a better review, or you want to chat about it, please feel free to hit me up. Drop a note down in the comments and we can chat about that. So after that, I happen to have come across a couple of actual sets. This is one of them. And I really like this set. This is a John MacArthur commentary set. I came across this set at a used bookstore for $100 for the whole thing. And that, in my opinion, is amazing. So, keep your eye out for stuff like that, because these go for about $15 to $25 a piece. But I found basically I'm missing just a couple. Basically the whole New Testament, for $100. I couldn't pass it up. This just holds it holds pens, highlighters, Bible pens, the pens I write in my Bible with. And it's right here where I'm going to be writing, so I don't have to go looking for it. These is usually extra study material since I don't have the shelf filled up yet for whatever it is I happen to be studying. And this inside here, because I haven't come up with a case yet, is my Bible from the 1800s. And then down at the very bottom, we do have a, this is also an entire set that I got from a friend who was moving. And he was moving and didn't want to take it. So I said, I will take it. And it gets used. So let's jump over to the next shelf. All right, this second shelf, this brown one here, this is, I'm going to go on a limb and say 100% Bibles. Watch, I'm going to prove myself wrong. So this top shelf of Bibles are Bibles that really are personal. I've had them for years and years since I was a kid. Some of them are my wife's. I'm not going to say that I've collected in the traditional sense collected, but they are Bibles that I've collected. Actually, this one's brand new. I love this Bible. All the rest of them are old. This one's like 20 years old. I got it when I was an interim youth minister. You know, this Bible, I should do a review on this one. This one I got right before I went into the Marine Corps, and I needed a Bible that would fit in my pocket, but I wanted the whole thing, not just a Gideon's New Testament, and that one fit the bill. So these are just different Bibles and books that I've gone through. Then when we move down a section, we get into my study Bibles and the other Bibles. So for those of you that are familiar with the channel, I have reviews on almost all of the rest of the Bibles that you're going to see. And I am a little OCD, so believe it or not, these are organized in one manner or another. This first section here, these are all what I would call general study Bibles. New NLT study Bible, NIV study Bible, Open, MacArthur, Reformed, ESV, okay? Then, like the second half, and there's another shelf a little bit down further that we're going to take a look at. These are, because I don't know if there's a term, they're specialized study Bibles, or, you know, they're just Bibles that are specific to something, like archaeology, okay? Archaeology, apologetics, chronological, gospel transformation. They all have a little bit different of a focus, and I appreciate that because you get a little bit different of a commentary from the writers. Then this next little section here is, they're all like what I'm going to say soft covers. Some of them are premium leather, some of them are just bonded leather, but they don't sit up. You know, I don't want to mess the bindings and the leathers up, so they sit this way. The ones towards the top I used more than towards the bottom. This Bible I got at the end of 8th grade when I graduated confirmation. So that's how old that is. So that's like a 30-year-old Bible. The rest of these, again, you've seen me review them and talk about them. You got your Cambridge Clarion. Those two are my wife's. And your Pitt Minion. This Bible I go through, I love this Bible. The Spurgeon Study Bible is fantastic. The Net Bible helps me, the Net Full Notes. This one's different, so it's not a typical study Bible. Check that out. You know, so I use these Bibles a lot. That's why the ones I use are close to the top. They're harder to get out when they're on the bottom. This section here is the continuance of the specialized study Bible. Is just different. This one isn't technically a study Bible. The Berean Study Bible, it's just a new translation. And then I have this little section of like pocket Bibles and kids Bibles. Gideon's New Testaments. Actually, this one was given to me in 5th grade by my 5th grade teacher. He was a member of the Gideons and used to pass these out. He gave one to each of us. This is a teeny little Cambridge New Testament. It's a cool little Bible, I'm not going to lie, and there is a review on that. And then my reader's Bibles. So, different, you know, just journaling and straight up readers, no notes. This one was kind of hard to see there in the dark. The ESV Reader's Bible, there's no numbers. That's the word I'm looking for. There's no numbers or chapter headings or anything like that. It just is like a book, just like this Immerse series. Great little tool to read from. This bottom shelf is almost all Tyndale. These are Bibles that I've reviewed. Sometimes I give some of them away. I keep a lot of them to use. Some of them are just empty boxes, but the box looked good there, so I left it. Because this is like filament Bibles. They're fantastic to use. These art journaling, I kind of passed them up real quick. These art journaling Bibles are gorgeous. They make their way around my house, so they're not always sitting here. I like to leave them out because I really do enjoy looking at them and enjoying the art that people have created using those. So let's jump over and we'll get into the actual books. All right, now we're going to start getting into actual books. There is a row of study tools here. And at the very bottom, you're going to get a sneak peek. At the bottom of this particular shelf, you're going to get a sneak peek at some upcoming Bible reviews, because that's where I keep those Bibles at the moment. So this top shelf, again, I want to remind you, if you've just joined us, we're just doing a library. A couple of people asked about doing a library a tour, and all the books that I have in my library. So if you have any questions on any of these books, you notice a title or an author that you want more information on, hit me up, leave a comment down at the bottom, and I'll do my best. So this top shelf, they're books that have already been read. I got a lot out of and I wanted to keep for one reason or another. But they're just basic Christian education, Christian information. I usually try to keep them, like I'm a big Tim Keller fan and I'm OCD. So I keep Keller together with Keller. If we move down one shelf, we get into textbook and biblical additional helping devices, again, such as these are books that you need to have. A general introduction to the Bible. This teaches you and helps you understand the Bible, be able to defend it better. A good systematic theology book. Okay, an introduction to biblical interpretation. This is a textbook, but go through it. It's not very expensive. I can even help you out and give you a link to like Walt Russell's class through Biola, his hermeneutics class. You got to take that. Okay, how to read the Bible book by book. These are all things that will help you study. Bible dictionaries, Strong's Concordance, little different handbooks, you know, visual. I tell you guys all the time, I'm visual. So if I can get a better definition or a visual definition of some sort, that helps me a whole lot. And then we move down to another shelf. This is all books that I have read. And if you notice the theme here, this is apologetics. So these are all apologetics books. I use these all the time. It's hard to see the little tabs. There we go. See all these little tabs that are in all these books? I use these because the ladies and gentlemen that have written these books have done a fantastic job of helping me defend my faith and know the truth. Not only that, but give me more material to study from and stuff to look up in my own personal life. Then we get down to a couple of more, a shelf full of, again, I'm going to call them study tools and doctrine style books. So these first few here are surveys. A survey is basically an overview of the entire New Testament or Old Testament, so you know what you're reading. Playing with Fire, Walt Russell, I already mentioned his name once. I love his information in his hermeneutics class. How to read the Bible for all it's worth, get this book. If you don't have it, get it right now. Like, stop what you're doing and order it. It'll help you out a lot. And doctrine books. We'll see later when I get to the very end, the Heresy shelf. I am a student of Roman Catholic theology. It pushes me to know the truth of Scripture, even more my own faith, Reformed theology, and it helps me know what they believe so we can have better conversations, because that's just a group. Rome is a group that needs to be reached for Jesus, and I do my best. C.S. Lewis and Spurgeon get their own little section, and there it is. It grows and grows as I read more and more of their books, but because, I don't know, they're such fantastic writers that they get their own section. All right, and this is just another group of books that I'm working through. Some of them I've read, some of them I have not, and they're doctrine books. So I keep them down here. Sorry about the shadow. I'm doing my best to light them so you can see them. And here is your little sneak peek at upcoming Bible reviews. So that McLaren series Bible right here, This is a fantastic Bible. I'm really excited to do that for you guys. This Men of Character Bible by CSB, Christian Standard Bible by Holman, also fantastic. So make sure that you're subscribed so you can see when those come out, because those are great resources to have. And there's a couple other cool little Bibles here too. The Inspire for Girls, just New King James Journaling Bible. So there's your sneak peek at where I keep my Bibles to be reviewed, so I can look through them and spend some time with them before I review them for you guys. We're going to jump over to the last bookshelf. And at the bottom of the last bookshelf is my Heresy shelf. What the heck is a Heresy shelf? Well, stay tuned and you're going to find out. Okay, this is the last theological bookshelf. This bookshelf over here is just full of all my kids' books. We homeschool our kids, so we have good old-fashioned sit down and enjoy the fantasy reading books. Island of the Blue Dolphins, Call of the Wild, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So that's what those are. These first two shelves are books that are yet to be read. So some of them are for research, some of them are heretical and for research purposes only. Most of them are not. I tend to keep them, but these are all John MacArthur, right? He cranks out a book a week, it seems like. But you know what? I have learned something from every one of them. So I'm going to keep reading them as long as I can keep finding them. I'm going to repeat this. Most of these books that you see here were purchased for $2 or less. I am a frequenter of the used bookstores in my town and the library bookstores. That's how I have built this library. I keep my eye out for the authors that I like, the authors that I want to study and the titles that I want to study, and I find them. Here's another shelf of to be read. When I find them, I pick them up and I put them on these shelves. And then when it's time to pick another book, it's just right there. I also I get a lot of books from the library, whether it's the Kindle version for free or the Audible version for free, by the way. I like to listen to, Audible's not for free, but you can get the audio Bible or book from the library for free. And I like to listen and read at the same time. So here are some, a lot of these are biography style books, even though these ones were written by Charles Swindoll. I actually really like them. I got a lot out of them. I'm a big Metaxas fan, Bonhoeffer. I want the Luther book. I just haven't found it yet, and I'm cheap, so I'm waiting to find it used. The Pilgrim's Progress, of course, and some Corrie ten Boom there. And then there's another small stack over here of to be read. All right, we're getting down to it. The Heresy shelf is last. Let's see what else we got here. So this shelf is books that I have read. And MacArthur gets his own section just because there's so many and I'm OCD. There's no reason to have them all scattered around. So those are all John MacArthur books. These books, I really want to get the rest of them because these are fantastic little books by 9 Marks. They're all written by a different author, but they're attributes, if that's the right term, attributes of what you should be looking for in a church, and as a Christian. Then my last little section here before we get to the bottom one, if you asked me who my favorite author was right now, I would probably say this gentleman right here, Jerry Bridges. I love Jerry Bridges. I like the stuff that he writes. I have gotten a lot. I feel like I've been discipled by Jerry Bridges a lot. And this, by the way, is a fantastic book, Celebration of Discipline. Get this. It's been around a long time, but it's about the spiritual disciplines, what they are, how to do them, how to practice them. And last but not least, we're going to get to the Heresy shelf. Now, I don't say that facetiously. These books are heretical. You can disagree with me. That's fine. We can chat about it or in the comments or whatever. But these are books, a lot of them popular for one reason or another, that some of them people associate as Christian. You see there Joel Osteen, and he's just not. And then you have the guys that, like Bart Ehrman, right, that are, and Christopher Hitchens, that write against Christianity. I like to read their books for research purposes only, but you got to know what they believe so you know how to have conversations with others. Okay, so here we go. This section is other religions that most of them consider themselves Christian. I have a video that talks a little bit about this. They consider themselves Christians, but they definitely aren't. So the New World Translation of the Scriptures, Jehovah's Witnesses, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrines and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I like to use these books. I want to know what their literature says so I can learn about what they believe. It strengthens what I believe, and it allows for better, more in-depth conversation. Okay, if a Mormon comes to your door and you pull out their book that's marked with tabs, and you say, "Oh, but it says this right here," and you can open up to it, that helps a lot. I have found, and it makes for a little bit easier of a conversation. I mentioned before that I'm a student of Roman Catholic theology. Some of these are written by Roman Catholic apologists because Rome and the Roman Catholic Church is something that you have to study what they believe. You have to really go back and wade through the papal bulls, the encyclicals, the excuse me, the ecumenical councils. You've got to use that material in order to understand what they truly believe, because it helps have better conversations. If everybody's always talking past each other, I have found it to be extremely difficult to really get anywhere. And so I need to study what they believe a lot of times so I can help them understand what they believe. That way I can help them understand what the truth is and the truth of Scripture. All right. So that is it, my friends. For now, that's the library. These are just boxes up there. And most of them are empty. That's my library. That's how I use these shelves and how I go about studying. If you have any questions, you saw an author you want more information of, please hit me up. Let me know in the comments. Even come over to our Facebook group, Claiming Christianity, and we can have better and longer discussions there via social media. So that's it. It didn't take as long as I kind of thought, but I didn't get in depth into any of those specific books. If you have any questions on any of those books specifically, a title or an author name popped out to you and you have questions, let me know. Drop a comment down in the comments or just email me and we can chat about them. And I'm more than willing to review those because every book that I showed you are good resources for one reason or another. So thank you for sticking with me. Thanks for asking, because I do these videos with books in the back all the time, and I appreciate when you guys notice that and ask. Hey, if you found value in this video, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. If you might have friends, it helps YouTube put these videos in front of other people that might be interested in this content, and it really helps to put the information out there. So make sure you're subscribed. You saw my little stack of to be reviewed Bibles. We have lots of great content coming out. Good quality Bibles. That McLaren Bible is beautiful, so you're going to want to be subscribed so you get alerted when that comes out. Here's a couple other videos that you might be interested in the future or going to check out right now. And don't forget, be the Christian you claim to be.